So this portion of my YouTube channel, I kind of want to talk about the different ways in history that we've done sleight of hand magic. And this applies to politics. This applies to everything. And there's millions of examples, but I want to just use a very simple one just to get us started. It's fun. I mean, it actually is when you look at how it's impressive what what people are able to do. Now, obviously, politicians aren't, and they're churning the wheels. They're just the spokesperson for whatever idea is behind that. And the last time I talked about the difference between Trump's economy and Kamala's economy in a practical sense, and how to think about the assets that they're promoting, or in Kamala's case, the lack of assets that she's promoting when she's creating, let's say, demand. Okay. When Trump is creating demand, what that means is, all right, this is an idea to think about demand. All right. So someone calls you up. It's a cold call. It's a sales call. How you doing, Bob? I'm fine. Okay, cool, cool. I whatever conversation goes, but inevitably you hear something like this. Oh, what do you like to do in your spare time? I like to go fishing. Fishing. The color wheel of emotion. I'm on this spectrum of the color wheel. I'm highlighting desire. Now, what do you mean desire? What does this have to do with sales, Victor? What does it have to do with politics? Everything. I'm creating desire. Well, I'm reminding you of your desire to have more free time to go fishing, correct? Okay. Now, if that kind of thing, this thing with the focus, if that kind of thing increase, if that conversation increases, it continues, I do other things to create demand. Okay. So I'm creating demand. I need more time to go fishing, basically. What does that have to do with politicians? Real quick, in that prior conversation with Bob, I'm going to promote, well, here's how you get that time. And I'm going to offer him something to do, a product to sell or whatever. Now, Victor, that's just capitalism 101. That's just really bad. Not if it benefits Bob, not if it benefits me, not if it benefits the customer. Bob sells products, he makes a net value, he makes profit off of that product. So let's break it. He benefits, okay. He benefits, I benefit. Let's talk about assets and how Trump's assets are different from Kamala's assets, and how they can talk you into those asset ideas, or how to get a return on your investment. You are a citizen. You invest in this country by working, by paying taxes. How are you going to get a return? And how do politicians talk you into the idea of I'm getting a return? They're salesmen. They're either selling good products that will benefit, or they're selling bad products that won't. Okay. And last time I gave an example of that. Trump's product was oil. He's not going out there drilling for oil, but he's going to open up the lines. Okay. Kamala, let's just say, we continue to print money, which is okay. Put that in Trump and Kamala, print money, oil, in this column over here, the asset ideal box. Let's talk about the assets for a minute. This is oil, but we'll call it aspirin. Let's just say there's 200 aspirin in here. I buy this for $10. I'm going to sell this on the market. This is an asset. So it's something that is going to put money in my pocket. Let's just keep it simple. I think it's like $200. I can't remember. Hey Siri, what is 200 times 0.25?
200 times 50. 0.25 is 50.
Let's talk about economies. 50. I buy this for $10. And I sell each one of these, that's 200 for 25 cents a piece. Now, my initial investment was $10, but what I'm receiving back is $50 total. So now I made a profit, it's a net value, a positive equity of $40. Okay. That's oil. We spend X amount on oil, we get a profit back, and then that goes and it trickles down back into the economy. It goes from a solid asset to a liquidable asset. And it can help offset cost of certain things like all the tariffs we've been complaining about. And I don't want to get into that, and we could easily get into that, but it'll help offset the initial cost of possibly or possibly not losing money from that whole deal. And we're not going to, but there's a whole thing. Of course, there's an initial upfront cost as it works through the system, but but our asset can help offset that. There's two calls I'm going to make. To help promote the asset ideal box. What is our ROI? What is our return on investment as citizens? Are we going to go with Trump and his assets, or are we going to go with Kamala and his assets? So let's make two calls. Kamala picks up the phone, calls the American public, and says, I'm going to help you save on taxes. I'm going to help you save on taxes, guys. Oh, yeah. We're doing a little tax cut or whatever the hell she was promoting. Oh, fantastic. Let's go to the asset box. Well, how are we going to do that in the asset box? Well, are you going after oil? No, because we shut down the pipeline and we shut it down in 2020. Oh, okay. So what is the asset to help offset the cost of you lowering our taxes? Because obviously you're going to use money while proposing that we're going to save money. Are we going to save money? If I go to the asset box and we don't get a return on our investment, am I going to save money? So let me give an example of that. She cuts taxes. Fantastic. We go to the asset box, and in her column, we say, well, we're going to print money. Let's just, as one example, let's just pretend that's what they do. Let's just pretend, but we did do it before. So let's pretend like it's going to happen again, because it will. We printed money. Well, fantastic. Okay, I'll take my cut. Well, yeah. I mean, the last time we printed money, we gave you relief checks of $1,000, and there was $1,000 left between each exchange. Let's just pretend. I don't even want to get into that aspect. That's a whole other can of worms, but we're not going to go there. Would you focus on my face? Bada boom, bada bing with the face, the focus face. Um, what's our ROI? How are we going to get a return on investment when you're depleting the dollar, when you print more money? The more things you increase, as just a simple example in supply and demand, the less value they have. And if I'm so tempted to get into that whole thing, but let's just keep it at the simple. What's our ROI? It turns out there is none. It turns out that actually increases the debt. So it turns out that when you cut my taxes, I'm going to get a tax, an inflationary tax. So I'm going to have to pay more for the products because they're losing value. And then when you come in and say, I'm going to punish the companies for raising their prices. Well, why did they raise their prices in the first place? Because they have to keep up with what? Demand. Hello. All right. Let's go to Trump's economy. He makes a call. He's going to create demand. Bob, how you doing? We're not, as a businessman, we're not going to talk to the nation. Let's keep our asset box over here because we're going to get to that. We're going to make this call. Bob, how you doing? Oh, fantastic. Okay. Listen, I'll buy your building for 900,000. Oh, well, I'm selling it for 1 million. Okay, Bob. Well, goes through the deal. He creates demand in certain ways, however he does it. You like to go fishing, whatever. In this sense, he's going to create demand by going down a list of 100 people. How's that creating demand? Because he's buying himself time. He knows that if Bob doesn't do it, maybe Joel will do it. Timmy, whatever. A month later, he goes back to Bob, and he knows if he hasn't sold the business at that point or the building at that point, he's paying on that. So that's automatically creating demand. So when he calls him back and says, "I will now buy it for 800,000," and Bob freaks out and says, "You said 900,000." He says, "Well, hey, that's what I'm offering." Now, if Bob is still in his profit margins, he's either going to be he's punching equally. Trump is not punching down. He's not even punching up. He's punching equally. He's saying, "Look, you got $1 million business here, $1 million building here. You're either profiting or you're not. But that's not my concern. That's on your end. You're either interested or not." And I've gone down 100 people, so now it's just a numbers game. If one of you is going to, if 50 say no and 50 say yes, but only 10 say definitely yes, and only one actually does it, I've got one guy. That's a whole other thing. But Bob says, fantastic. Let's do it. Now, he's at least stopped paying on it. He's at least not continuing to bleed money. Now, what does that have to do with our asset box? Because he called the American people. Yes, we said that we had no plans on the Kamala side, but was very vague, with the exception of very surface level thinking in terms of we're going to help you save money on taxes, but didn't tell you the backdrop of that, or the backdraw of that, or the slashback, or whatever you call it. We didn't tell you the consequences of that by not having a asset ideal box, which I will put into action by doing what? Oh, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill for oil again. That's horrible. Okay, fine. We'll deal with that when we have the capital to deal with that. But first, we need to gain some capital so that we can look at other resources. But right now, that's a whole other topic. So we go into our asset ideal box, and now we're getting an ROI. Excuse me. I'm going to advertise. We're getting an ROI. We bought a bottle of pills for $10, and we have sold each one for 25 cents, and now we get a gross return of $50. But our profit, what we take home, is 40, and then we take that 40, and with some of the aspirin, some of the oil we put aside. But we manage that whole thing, but we take that other, and then we put it into what? 40 minus 10 is what? 30. So now we still have 30 in profit. We take another 10, put it back into another bottle. And each time we build that stack. This is why cash is an asset, because it's going, and this is an example, one example's in a way to think about it, trickle down economics, but that's a whole other topic. We have gone from a solid asset to a return on our investment. Okay. When you print money for the magical money tree, and you offer a sales strategy of, oh, we're going to benefit you in tax savings, but you don't have anything to offset the cost, what are you doing? And when you introduce this to the public and you go through the emotional color wheel of creating demand, one is anger. I'm enraged. They're taking away our democracy. Of course, they're going to promote that they're taking away your democracy, because they want to get back to that money tree. And I keep saying, I don't want to talk about it. There's a reason they want to get back to that money tree. We can make another video of that when I'm somewhere. If I ever get popular, I'm somewhere in the Pacific with a boat like McAvey or whatever that hell his name was. That's it. And this is how politicians talk you into things, by using the emotional color wheel of fear, desire, regret, whatever, these emotions. And then, which is fine, because remember, Trump used the emotional color wheel on Bob, which was basically fear. Like, bro, if you haven't sold yet, man, you might want to consider biting. Okay, well, whether Bob benefited or not, and he could have, we've kept a neutral decision. But I'll tell you one thing that won't benefit for sure with the exception of the elite, as Kamala's called. We're going to save you money on taxes. Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay. I'm sorry. My thing went wacko. I'm going to end with this. Focus, focus. Yes. I'm going to end with this. I want to show you something really fun to look at. Freaking, how are you not focusing? It's not that. Oh my God. Let's share something. I'm going to show you what I've done. What have you done? I'm going to show you what I've done. Just take it easy. Let's see if this is the. I'm going to show you how to think about. Nope. Sorry, guys. Give me a minute here. Hold on. I have to figure out which one is which. And if it shows me the same one, it's still sharing the same one. Fantastic. That's great. Great. All right, let's do this. Sorry, just give me 1 minute. 1 second. 1 second. Take it easy. Just relax. Picture. I'm talking to myself. So, what does this have to do with anything? It kind of has something to do. It's just very fun to look at, but it also can help exercise. I need to do these things. This is a to help exercise my concentration. I have it's a whole thing. Um, a Sims game where I own a power business, uh, energy, and so I will utilize. This is basically kind of like second level on day trading. You've got the bid and the ask, the buyer and the seller. What does this have to do with Trump and Kamala and well, it'll just help you to think about the background of what they're actually doing in a sense. So just check it out. Just follow me if you can. I'm sure you can. And I know I got amazing smart people out there, but just check this out. I have this is me. I have, let's say, 2 million units of power, ohms, let's just say whatever, but we can use the example of shares. Let's just say, let's stick with units. I have 2 million units. Right here, I'm only selling 103,084, which has cost me per unit 17.3, 17 cents and three, whatever, three, 30th, you know what I mean? Yeah. So 17.3, let's just do that. Workers, pay my administration. Okay, per unit. Now, this guy right here is just selling 11 million units and some change for 10 cents over this number right here. Now, here's how it works in the market in level two or just in haggling, you know, negotiations between people like we did with the phone and all that. This is like the hard copy version of that. For the market to take out, for people, the buyer here, the bid and the ask, the seller, for the bid to come up to the ask, which is this number right here, that amount, it's going to take a while to chip away at that number because some people might only want to buy 11,000 units for their own reasons. All right. So how do I hope to God this is sharing this specific screen. Okay. How do I compete against that? Well, if I've got 17.3 that I've produced it for, I've got room to move. Okay. Let's just call it the spread, but it is the spread. It would be the spread. But that's a whole other thing. So what I've done is I said, well, I've got room to move, so I can come down. And because I'm only selling a portion of my units or portion of my shares, I'm not selling the 2 million. Why would I not want to sell the 2 million at this number right here? Why? Because it's going to take a while for that number to come down because 2 million is a lot of shares. Okay. That's a lot of units. So if it takes a while for that number to come down, I'm giving my I'm giving myself or the competitor or whatever time to go, oh crap, well, I'll just come down to 269. And now I'm competing with them. So what's that doing? That's driving the price down. So I don't want to drive the price down. So instead of being greedy and trying to sell all my shares at this number, which is making profit, okay, I'm now negotiating. And I'll make a separate video of this alone because this is cool all in itself. Hopefully you followed me to this point. So I'm selling it for this smaller amount so I can get this done. I'm storing my wheat in the silo and I'm managing the market. Now, this is what they do. This is what Trump will do with the oil. We store the oil, we manage how we utilize it. This is where this applies. When you print money, where are you storing it? I know that's a smart ass way to say that, but where are you storing it? It's not a solid asset. You can't put it back in the kitty. You can't put it back in the vaults. You print it and that's it. And there's nothing backing it. So that's how you think. That's how you think about these types of things. Really had fun with this. I hope this, entertained you or at least maybe you learned something. But thank you so much. Cheers. All right. Stop the share. Stop the share. End the bloody